McLean from Elite Agent Magazine, and in Transform this week it really was boom time with the man who made that word his own, mindset coach and Elite Agent Magazine regular contributor, Jet Xavier. Sales is a game that is often played internally. The reluctance to pick up the phone is not a lack of skill, because we all know how to pick up the phone, but more something going on in the mind that holds us back. Jet spoke to the Super 6 about 3 things that had the potential to really break through their current GCI levels and significantly expand their businesses. And they are 3 things that anyone can do. And in his usual Jet style, he pulled no punches. Here is what went down.
In this industry, I've done over 2,500 coaching sessions with people starting, people that are running a couple of $1 million, people running $1 million businesses, people that have been in the business for 20 years. And it keeps coming back to one thing. Consistency. That's it. So I assume all of you have sold property yet? Yep. Who hasn't? Is there anyone that hasn't sold a property? Yeah, you get a buyer, you get a seller, you put them together, you sell the property, you look after them for life. Boom. There you go. That's real estate in a nutshell, yeah? I mean, it's got a whole lot of mechanics that are connected to it that sometimes are complicated and do your head in. But the majority of times, just get 2 people together and make it happen and look after them for life. That's real estate. But the biggest issue is the consistency in that, yeah? And it is the mindset, it is the procrastination, it is the disorganisation, it is not being clear, it is not knowing your why. It's all about productivity, it's about effectiveness, it's about efficiency, it's about discipline. And it's all those inner things that are the most important thing in real estate. Something's got to be different. You've got to do something different. If you're going to build great careers, you've got to do something different. Arm yourself with the tools that are going to make you the best skilled agent around, but understand the game's not played there. The game's played up here. It's played in here, yeah? And that's what I want to talk about today. How do you get mind fit? You're already skill fit, and that's talent and ability is growing, I'd assume, yeah? It's about the inner game. You look at the best in the business, and their inner game is by far different to those that are maybe struggling in that 80% that are making $57,000 a year. Anyone put their hand up for $57,000 a year? No. You want to get into this business, an untapped resource so you can make as much money as you want. But to do that, there's got to be an application right here, right now, today that says, hang on, I'm going to cross the line here. I'm going to step across it. I'm going to be committed to my inner game for the rest of my career, yeah? Have we got that? I need that from you, yeah? That's a decision you need to make today. Because trust me, I can meet you in 3 years, 4 years, 6 years' time, and if that inner game hadn't changed from today, you might have got some incremental results, you might have had some changes, you might have did some good things, but you never reached the potential that you had. You always would have been working on your natural ability and not your realised potential. Yeah, and there's a big difference. I got a good friend, Stephen Bock, 61st Australian to climb Mount Everest. He works for Ray White, he's a great agent. And I've always had the conversation with him about the skills that he has as a climber to climb Everest, yeah, and the mental game he needs to get to the top. And I always thought the most important thing in climbing a mountain like Everest was that skill base, yeah? Well, you need to know how to climb a mountain, traverse the rocks, get up the ice, the wind, all that sort of stuff that's important about getting to the top of Everest. And so we had a discussion one day. I sort of taken the mickey out of him about how slow they walk. I don't know if you've seen the documentaries. They're just walking like so. I said, mate, what do you walk so slow for? Just speed it up and you'll get the job done. You'll get up there, you'll get down. And he goes, you know, mate, in his condescending Jet, you don't know anything about climbing Everest voice. He said, mate, when we're at that limit on the mountain and we're at that stage of trying to summit, he said, our body's basically broken down. And I said, well, let's have a V drink, you know, have a Red Bull and have a protein shake, everything's right. He goes, mate, the body actually can't take in any food. We've pushed our body beyond the human endurance limits physiologically, yeah? It won't take anything in. And we are so exhausted, that's why we're walking so slow. But the other thing is we need to keep moving. If we stop, we're going to die. And he's talked about people that he's passed on the way that have been dead, etc. But the thing that stands out is the fact that to get to the top of a mountain like Everest is everything about skill set, but at the end of the day, when the crunch comes, it's nothing to do with skill set. Because you've just flicked the switch that's just gone, hang on a second, I'm beyond my physiological abilities right now. I'm just about to take this thing to another level. Now, it's an extreme example, but you've got mountains every day, yeah? You talk about fear, you talk about your why, you talk about clarity. You've got mountains that you're trying to climb every day. Don't fall into the problem of thinking it's just about the skill set game. Because when the crunch comes, and it does, when you don't want to make that phone call, it's not about your skill set. When you don't want to do that extra knock, when you don't want to get that assistant, when you don't want to pay for that marketing, when you don't want to invest in yourself, when you don't want to up your calls, that's not a skill set game. It's a game that's internal, yeah? That's part of your inner game. I want to tell you two words first of all that I want you to write down. I want you to write down uncomfortable, and I want you to write down change. This year you need to be prepared to get uncomfortable, yeah? And I mean awkward, I mean feeling scared, feeling fearful, worried, nervous, anxious, stressed, call it whatever you want it to. It's that ugly place that we go to where we are just crapping ourselves and we generally turn around and we go the other way. Everyone been there? Yeah? So you need to get uncomfortable. That's the first thing. Nothing change. You need to understand that if nothing changes, as you know, nothing changes. Yeah? So there's a level of change that has to happen. There's a level of evolution that has to take place. There's a level of growth that has to happen in your business and your life before the success comes. There's a level of expanding, and there's a little bit of pain that has to happen. Yeah. You look at the lobster and how it breaks through all its shells. It's going through pain because it's growing out of that shell. But uncomfortable and change are not words that we throw around. They're words that we avoid. Yeah. We don't want to embrace uncomfortable. We don't want to embrace change because it's too difficult. It might hurt a little bit. It might take us away from where we feel safe. But without that, I'm sorry, nothing will change. Yep. What do you need to get uncomfortable about this year? What do you need to change this year? Have you got a list? Are you clear about it? Are you aware of what those things are? We talked about roadblocks. You mentioned roadblocks before. What are those roadblocks? Have you got a detailed, exhaustive understanding of what you need to get uncomfortable about or where the change needs to occur? Because first of all, you need to create awareness around those things, yeah? So let's look at these three things. I did some work with a guy who's writing about $800,000 a year. He was travelling about an hour or so to work each way, working about 7 days a week on anxiety medication because he had a breakdown. So still in the game, still having a crack. But basically his life was falling apart. Not getting to the gym, not enjoying his hobbies, etc. You know the story. So we worked for about 8 months, getting him back into the gym, getting him back into the family, getting him back, off the medication, getting him stable, getting him back in love with what it was he, first got involved in and fell in love with in the business. He went on to write about 1.2 million. Yeah? So the change wasn't a skill change. The change was a change in his self-belief. Yeah? Something switched, something happened where he started to believe that he could do something different. He was already in a horrible situation. He knew that wasn't working for him. The model he was running, the stories he was telling weren't working for him, and he knew he had to get uncomfortable again to change. So he changed. So we got into a point of stability where I said, well, where do we go from here? What do you really want? He goes, I've always dreamed of having my own office. He goes, but I don't think I can. It means I'm going to have to leave here. I'm writing over $1 million in comms. I'm secure here. I've been here for a long time. This is my market. I'm too scared to. Fear gripped him. Yep. Didn't believe in himself. So again, we worked for 5 or 6 months together, and eventually he left $1 million in GCI business to a new market, invested $180,000, backed himself, got 6 staff, moved his family there, bought a house, settled in a new area. Happiest, off medication, happiest I've ever seen him in his life. Why? Because he made a transition between not believing in himself and what he thought was right for him to believing in himself and what he thought was right for him. What happened was he became confident. His confidence grew from someone who thought, hang on a second, I can't escape this mess, so I'm just going to keep traveling an hour forward, an hour back every day. I'm going to stay anxious. I'm going to consistently have this pressure on my life and this stress that's having a big impact on my family. I can't change because I'm not confident. Everything in your business that stops you from moving to that next level is around confidence. You're either beatable or you're unbeatable. Yeah? Because confidence is what drives behavior. And if you want a behavior, whatever that is in your business and in your office and wherever you are in whatever state and whatever market, you need confidence to drive behavior. Because if you don't have that confidence driving that behavior, then what have you got? What is driving the behavior? Well, the fear, the self-doubt, the I don't think I can, I'm not sure if I will, this is going to be too hard. Yep. Sometimes the ducks don't line up, things are not perfect, you can't work it all out. Sometimes you just got to jump. You just got to get out there and you just got to have a go at it. And confidence is what I need you to lead with this year. Yep. So how do you're thinking, well, hang on, that sounds great, but how do I get confident? Well, I love what the military do with confidence. What the military do in SAS training and Navy SEALs training is they basically put you in horrific situations so that you become confident. So that when you're dropped in a live situation in the middle of Afghanistan, you're not thinking about, oh, can I do this? I'm not sure. You've already been through it for 12 weeks in hell, back in America or wherever it is, learning to be confident, yeah? But it's not how we're brought up. You know, it's not how we're wired to actually put ourselves in situations that are going to breed confidence. But I'm telling you, if you want to get confident this year and you want that confidence to drive a behaviour that's going to make you unbreakable and unstoppable, you need to find the things that you're not confident in right now and you need to start doing them. Yep? You have to. It's just the way it is. Yep? If I go out in a football field and I expect not to be tackled, that's crazy, isn't it? So I go out there expecting I'm going to get hit. I could get hit hard. I might even get an injury out of this. But after time, I get used to the game and I go out and I'm more passionate about it and I start playing harder and my confidence builds. This is what people want. People want a magic pill. They want Jet, tell me how to do the calls easy so I'm confident. It just ain't going to happen. It's like saying you're going to Afghanistan but you're not going to get shot. No, you're going to Afghanistan, you might get shot. It's going to hurt. You're going to not eat for days. You're not going to shower for days. You could see your brothers get killed. All that sort of stuff. I mean, real estate's not war, but it is in a sense, yeah? You signed up for things that are difficult, complicated, that are painful, that aren't good, that normal human beings don't like because they can't cut it. That's why the attrition rate in real estate is really high, because only those that have the ability to step up and go, hang on a second, this isn't ideal, I'm shit scared here, I'm not sure how I can handle this, I don't even know if I can, but I'm going to have a go anyway. They're the ones that make it in this business, yeah? So the sooner you get over that noise in your head, the quicker you're going to accelerate the results that you want, yeah? Again, same thing. You know how to pick up the phone, you know how to get a list, you know who to call, you know the scripts to use, you know what to say, you know how to soft close, you know everything. You've got it all there. I wouldn't be doing anything else in my business but that. That's all I would be doing. Because if this hurdle isn't jumped over, if you don't get this done now, it's never going to get done. It's a muscle in your brain that needs to be overcome, yeah? You know, in the brain, it works like this. There's a part of the brain that builds habit. And it loves habit because it keeps us lazy. And when we ask the brain to do something else and something different, it freaks out because it goes, no, I'm happy the way things are. Yeah, I'm happy the way it is. It's easy doing it like this. When what you need to do, you need to go, no, if this is the most important thing in my business, if that's the most important thing in your business, I'm creating a personal revolution right now. I'm creating a war. And if I need to get someone to handcuff me to a phone and watch over me for 3 hours a day, I'd be paying someone to do that. All right, so confidence is the first thing, yep? And that's how you build confidence. It's definitely how you build confidence. I mean, there are many ways we can break it down. We can go back into your past if you want. We can look at what fear is and why it's happening. But action speaks louder than words. And if you put yourself in that situation more often than not, the muscle in your brain is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger, yeah? So I don't know what it is for you that you need to do that, but whatever it is, do it, okay? I'll come and sit next to you every day, all right? Let's go on to the second thing. There's a great study in the States at West Point Academy by a lady called Duckworth, and she studied 2,500 cadets. And the theory was that the people that go into these academies as Navy SEALs and the SAS that survive what they call Hell Week or beasting and all this horrible stuff, you know, where they do Chinese water torture, they drown them and then they bring them back to life and put them out in the ocean 18 k's out. The theory was that the ones that survived this were the biggest, strongest. Yep, the ones that were most talented, had the most ability, the ones that had the best genetics, came from the best families, were the richest, wealthiest, best looking, all that type of stuff. What she found after 2,500 people that she studied was that wasn't the case at all. It was just the normal bloke or woman who had what she called grit. Yep, that was pretty simply it. What we understand to be resilience. Yep, that ability to push through towards your goal, which you all have, despite of what is going on around you. Yep. Despite of what comes against you, despite of the roadblocks, despite of the obstacles that you're facing. Grit or resilience is that ability to keep going regardless. Yeah? You'll go back, you're not going to pick up the phone straight away, I know. You might do it the next day, But resilience is that ability to keep going back to the phone. I understand what resilience is. You know what it is? It's not giving all the stuff that comes against you any time. What we do is we take our focus off where we want to go and we give this stuff out here that's just noise, we give it time, yeah? We give it energy, we give it emotion, we give it our intellect. Well, what we need to do when it comes to resilience is this: we need to not take any notice of what's going to happen. Here's the problem. We spend more time trying to control this and getting rid of it and eliminating it, when the fact is it's never going anywhere. All the clutter, all the obstacles, the challenges, all the fights, all the difficulties in real estate, the deals falling over, building and pests falling over, everything that you face on a day-to-day basis, it's going to be there till the day you die as a real estate agent. So why give it any time? Because if you're not giving time to the things that are happening around you, the challenges that are too hard, the obstacles, all the effort you have to put in, if you're not giving it time, what are you giving time to? Well, you're giving time to the stuff that's important. You're pushing through the stuff that's important. You're focusing on the stuff that's important. And focus is an important element of success, because as you know, where your focus goes, your energy goes, yeah? That's an old saying, but it's true. Where your eyes are looking, that's where all your intent is. So you're going to get challenges in real estate. It's going to happen, yeah? You're going to have the worst days in the world, guaranteed it. Everybody does. But what you're focusing on within those days is so important. And what you're focusing on determines your resilience factor, or the level of resilience you have. All right. Last thing I want to talk to you about is this, number 3. There was a great study done, and it's in a book called The Happiness Advantage. So if you're into reading, get a hold of this book. And it was 2 groups of people. One group of people felt that their life just sort of was ho-hum and didn't do a lot of great stuff, and the other group thought it was pretty cool and things went their way. And the challenge was that the groups had to go through a newspaper and count how many photos were in the newspaper, and the first group that did that won a prize. And so off they went. Well, the group that felt life was pretty cool and things went well won. And they won because on page 2 of the newspaper it said, "Stop, there are 46 photos in this newspaper." Halfway through the newspaper it said, "Stop, there are 46 photos in this newspaper. Go to the experimenter and you'll get a $500 prize." Why do you think that was the case? Why do you think they were able to see those signs and the other team weren't able to see those signs? They were looking for the signs, yeah? They were looking for the patterns. There's another great study called the Tetris effect. The Tetris effect is they put people in a room for a couple of days to play Tetris, and they ended up going away for weeks on end just thinking everything was trying to join up. And it pretty much drove them crazy, and they realised that everyone has a Tetris effect. It's a way that they see the world. Yeah? People in the group that thought life was good saw the world in a positive way. They were optimistic. So they could see the signs a lot more than the people that were pessimistic. Yeah? Your business is going to be built on the fact of your optimism. We know optimistic people outsell pessimistic people by at least 30% more. Now who's up for some of that, yeah? I'd be going to optimism school if I was a sales agent and I knew that. How do I get more optimistic? We know the brain performs 30% better when it's in a positive state, yeah? When it's up, when it's vibrant, when it's full of life and not negativity, anxiety, stress or nervousness or worry. Because if you put yourself in that situation, it's a game changer. You already work in offices, you already work with other agents. How many agents do you know are just upbeat, bright, have a positive outlook about everything around them? Very few, yeah? Optimism drives behaviour, yeah? And it's a behaviour that sets you apart because your outlook is different, yeah? I had an outlook when I was on the streets, my outlook now is different. It's like what the great Wayne Dyer said. He said, don't be paranoid, everyone's out to get you. Be an inverse paranoid, everyone's out to help you. When I heard that, it was life-changing. Because up until that point, I thought everyone's trying to get me, get something from me. And then I realised everyone's trying to help me, and just revolutionised my life. And it's the same thing with you guys. You need to go back to your work, back to your market, and you need to look at the things that you have the wrong perspective about, and you need to switch it, yeah? The reality is the market might be crap, yeah? But your response to that, okay, is important in how it plays out over time. Make sense? Because if your response isn't a positive, optimistic response, then there's going to be impact on you physiologically, there's going to be impact on you mentally, there's going to be impact on your numbers, there's going to be impact on your attitude, on your motivation levels, on your energy. It impacts everything. But if you try and put yourself in a more optimistic state and go, okay, this mightn't be ideal, This might be a bit tough. What Jet said to get on the phone, just keep doing it till I can do it, I'm a bit scared of. But I know that this is going to break. I know it's going to work. I know it's going to give me an edge. I know it's going to put me ahead. You know what, at the end of the day, it's going to make you a better person. Because people want to be around optimistic people, yeah? They don't want to be around doubtful, negative people who are anxious, worried, pressured and under stress all the time. They want to be around people who are vibrant, full of life and have vitality, and optimism gives you that each time.
So, some fantastic takeaways from that session about getting uncomfortable and also being willing to make changes rather than just talking about it. I also love the fact that optimistic people outsell pessimistic people by 30%, a really easy tweak that you can make before you call your next prospective buyer or seller. No wonder they say you should smile before you dial. But more on that next week when head coach Claudio Encina returns to see how our Super 6 are progressing. Don't forget to catch our Super 6 to see what they're up to with their video diaries on our website. And remember, as Jet says, view the world as though everyone is out to help you. If you have any questions for our coaches or our Super 6, tweet us at #EliteAgentMag #transform. See you soon.